The desert was silent that night, except for the ragged breaths of a woman struggling to stay alive. The sand beneath her burned even under the moonlight, and the weight of her unborn child pressed heavily against her frail body. Her clothes were torn, her lips cracked, and her eyes swollen from crying. Hours earlier, her husband, a man she once believed to be her protector, had abandoned her there, leaving her to die in the emptiness of the dunes. He was a millionaire, admired by society for his wealth, but behind the glittering facade lived a monster who discarded his pregnant wife as if she were nothing. That night, with the sound of the desert wind howling in her ears, she realized she had been betrayed by the very man she had sacrificed everything for. Friends, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and justice for those who are wronged, then take a moment to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Royal Stories. Your support gives us the strength to keep telling these powerful, emotional journeys. Her name was Amina, a gentle soul who once dreamed only of a simple, happy life. When she met Samir, he dazzled her with promises of love and devotion, sweeping her into a world of luxury she never imagined. For a time, she lived in wonder. Diamond necklaces, trips to foreign cities, parties where everyone envied her. But behind closed doors, cracks began to form. Samir grew cold, dismissive, and obsessed with a mistress who whispered poison into his ears. To him, Amina became an obstacle, a reminder of commitments he no longer wanted to keep. And when he learned she was carrying his child, instead of joy, his heart filled with rage. He plotted to rid himself of her, and one fateful evening, he drove her deep into the desert, promising a special trip. With a fake smile on his lips, he left her with a bottle of water and walked back to the car. The roar of the engine was the last sound she heard before she collapsed in disbelief. Hours stretched into days. The sun blistered her skin, and her stomach tightened with hunger. She screamed for help, but only the desert birds circled above. Each step felt heavier, and sometimes she thought of giving up entirely. But then she touched her swollen belly and felt the faint kick of the life inside her. That heartbeat became her anchor. I cannot die, she thought. Not for me, but for you. Clinging to that fragile hope, she staggered on until, by what felt like a miracle, a group of travelers passing by spotted her figure in the sand. They rushed to her aid, lifting her weak body into their vehicle, and carried her to safety. Recovery was slow, but every wound stitched into her spirit a stronger will. Amina gave birth to a baby boy, whom she named Zion, meaning, beauty of the world. He became her reason to wake each morning. With no home, no wealth, and no family by her side, she started again from scratch. She worked in small shops, washed dishes, and sewed clothes late into the night. There were days when she couldn't afford food, but she never once let Zion feel the hunger she endured. Slowly, she saved enough to rent a tiny room, then enough to study finance at night. Pain became her teacher, struggle her guide. What Amina did not know was that life was quietly aligning her path with destiny. Her sharp mind and relentless work ethic caught the attention of a kind older woman, Mrs. Rahman, who owned a small company. Unlike others, Mrs. Rahman saw not just Amina's skills but her resilience. She took her under her wing, mentoring her in business, management, and investment. Amina absorbed every lesson like dry earth drinking rain. Within a few years, she was running branches, making bold decisions and expanding networks. What began as survival soon became success. Her empire grew from one company to several, each investment carefully chosen, each partnership turning to gold under her leadership. The world now spoke her name with respect. Amina, the self-made magnate, a woman who had risen from the ashes of betrayal to build an empire of her own. Her fortune multiplied until one day, her holdings quietly outmatched those of the man who had abandoned her. Samir, once at the top, had fallen into a spiral of greed. His mistress, who had once seemed charming, now controlled his every move, bleeding his wealth dry. He borrowed heavily, gambled recklessly, and soon his businesses began to collapse. Desperate, he turned to investors, unaware that the largest share belonged to the woman he left to die. When he finally stood at the auction block, watching his properties slip away one by one, he heard a familiar name announced as the new owner. His blood ran cold. Amina stepped forward, her presence radiant, her son standing proudly at her side. The crowd gasped. Whispers spread like fire. The wife he had discarded in the desert had returned, not only alive but stronger, richer, and untouchable. Samir's lips trembled as he tried to speak, but his voice broke. The mistress who once clung to him now stepped away, seeking safety in distance. For the first time, Samir felt the weight of true loss. He had thrown away gold and embraced dust. Amina did not raise her voice, nor did she seek revenge through cruelty. She simply looked into his eyes and said, "The desert did not destroy me, it created me. And everything you lost now belongs to me." Her words echoed like a judgment down by fate itself. She walked away, leaving him standing in ruins, the empire he once boasted of now under her name. Her son Zion grew with dignity, inspired by his mother's strength, and Amina never forgot the night she almost lost everything. She chose to build schools for abandoned women, hospitals for single mothers, and charities for those society had cast aside. Her fortune became more than wealth, it became hope for countless souls. If this story touched your heart, friends, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Royal Stories. Your support means the world, and it helps us continue bringing these unforgettable journeys of pain, triumph, and redemption to life. Special request before you leave, drop a comment below with the words, "Kindness always wins," so we know this story truly reached you.